Hello everybody, my name is Zach, aka The Weather Gamer, bringing you Week 6 WWC Chicago Bear Ticks versus Fizzle the Hizzle and the Tampa Bay Weasels. You're probably wondering why there's no music. You're probably wondering why I'm post-editing or post-commentating this one again instead of live commentating. This is actually the second time I'm going over this match. During the live recording of this match, I lost my temper with Fizzle. It wasn't his fault. Some things that played out in this match, I felt like they didn't feel right to me. I'll actually not talk about them, I'll just explain them when they happen. And so I lost my cool, and I said some really nasty things that shouldn't have been said. Part of the reason is, as you have probably seen, my GPC match versus Matthias did not go well. I got 6-0'd. That's the second time I've ever been 6-0'd. Matthias is a great battler. It was a very hacksy game. My Mons were missing moves left and right, and so that cost me a ton. And just, it did not go well. Matthias is one of the best battlers. I know Fizzler is probably the best battler that doesn't play up in like the pro circuits with A drive and that. So I was already on edge about getting 6-0'd, and then playing Fizzle and seeing his team and knowing that I potentially was going to get 6-0'd for the second time that day. When things didn't go quite as planned, and that 6-0 looked more and more realistic, some events occurred and I lost my temper. And it wasn't right of me, what I said. That video is never going to see the light of day. I've actually already scrubbed it from my hard drive. No person will see it because I watched it back, and my actions while recording that were 100% opposite of everything that I stand for as a streamer, as a YouTube content creator, as a person. So I will not be posting that video. That video has been destroyed, and it's over. I've calmed down. This is about 10 hours later that I'm recording this, so we're going to go ahead and jump into it, post-commentating. Team builder for that, I talked about what I was bringing, why I was bringing it, what I was afraid Fizzle was going to bring. Fizzle's information will be down in the description as well, so you can go check him out. He's a great dude, great battler. I said it in the team builder yesterday. I'm really happy to have him in the league. I'm not happy with the fact that he's 5-0 and blasting through teams with Mega Salamence. That's kind of my own fault for allowing Mega Salamence, and then Fizzle had the second overall pick, so he's basically guaranteed Mega Salamence if the first overall pick didn't take it. So it's my fault. Mega Salamence goes away at the end of this season, and we deal with it. So I see 4 of the Mons that I knew were going to come. I knew Mega Salamence was coming. I knew Lele was coming. I knew Ditto was coming, and I knew Heatran was coming. Persian was hit or miss if it was going to come. Chestnut was hit or miss if it was going to come. I kind of figured it'd come to check Swampert, but really I was more worried about Gastro coming instead. So instantly I see, basically I don't know what the lead's going to be. It could very easily be Ditto just to try and scout my first set. It could be Mega Salamence to try and get a mismatch. It could be Heatran predicting me to go Ninetales first. I honestly don't know what I'm going to lead. Honestly, looking at what's out there, Pelipper and Rain might be the best bet. and was kind of the best bet in my mind because I could drop a Scald on the Heatran. I could drop an Ice Beam potentially on the Salamence if I lived the hit. Hurricaning would get rid of the Chestnut. I could U-turn out on both the Lele and the Persian, and Ditto can't hit me back hard with any of my moveset, and Pelipper could hit harder back. So I went Pelipper thinking Pelipper was probably my best lead, and I'm going to mute this real quick. And here comes Persian. So I'm thinking, okay, Persian's either got to be Fur Coat or it's Technician. It's one or the other. More than likely it's Fur Coat to try and wall me, and it's probably got Knockoff. It's probably got Fake Out to just try and keep me from setting up or hitting a move right away, and then Knockoff to get rid of items. Unfortunately, everything is susceptible except for Chandelure to getting its item knocked off, but then Chandelure can't take a knockoff with it being a ghost type. So U-turning here is the best play. I'll have Rain Up. I can U-turn into Swampert, and then Swampert hits everything super hard except for Chestnut. So there I see the Fake Out. So again, I kind of called it. This thing's probably running Knockoff, Fake Out, Taunt to keep me from defogging potentially, and or setting up with Latios, and then I don't know what its fourth move is going to be. Probably Parting Shot, maybe try and lower my attack and defense as well as give itself a pivot. So I flinched. We're just going to U-turn again. He knocks me off. There's the knockoff, takes out my Assault Vest. U-turning, and oh, no, I didn't go into Swampert. I went to Alolan Ninetales so I could fire off the Moonblast, because Moonblast hits everything except Heatran, either super effective or neutral. Sorry, I leaned back. I've been sitting in my chair all day today with streaming as well as matches and that. So it's also 10 o'clock at night, so I'm getting close to bed here, just trying to get some recordings done because I'm behind on my recordings. So Alolan Ninetales, Moonblast is obviously going to be the play. That's what I'm going to hit. In comes the Heatran. I fully knew that Heatran was coming in. Heatran basically would shrug this off and then immediately force me to switch Ninetales out so it can get up rocks, basically. I had no defog, as I said in the team builder, so rocks immediately would neuter Ninetales pretty badly and hurt Chandelure pretty badly too. One thing I didn't mention in team builder yesterday, I was considering running HP ground on this, but I didn't really see a good reason to run HP ground, with it only being useful against Heatran and Jolteon, and I didn't think Jolteon was coming. I really regret that at this point, because knowing that this thing was the answer to Ninetales, and knowing that it would switch in on a Ninetales, I could have HP ground. It's probably carrying a Shuka Berry. I burn its Shuka. It takes a chunk of damage from that, and then he knows he can't freely come in on Ninetales with Heatran anymore, because I can just Earth Power and wipe out Heatran. I know when I was talking to other coaches about this match, because I was panicked about what I was going to do. I've got a couple of the coaches in the league that are basically what I would consider, if I ever broke away from a league where they're not in the league with me, I would call them my front office. Just guys that I bounce ideas off of. Plus, there were a couple of coaches that wanted to see Fizzle lose. A couple of playoff coaches right now that wanted to see Fizzle lose, and so they were trying to give me set advice, which I appreciate the set advice, but that's technically considered cheating in my mind, because now you're helping other coaches Um, Coaches can send me ideas all the time because I've got several coaches that are new to league format, and I won't say yes, use this, or no, change your set and use this. I will say, well, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about what happens when you're in this situation, to get the coaches to think about all the variables and then make the best decisions themselves. I do not directly tell them, oh, you should run, like Chicago Launchers, oh, you should run Scolipede with this, and this item and this spread. That way you do this, and this. No, because once the coaches, if they don't come back to WWC, or if they, for season 2 or later, or if they go on their own way, they move on from WWC, they go get in other leagues, I want WWC to be a learning experience. I want to teach the coaches something. I want them to learn from their mistakes, my mistakes, everyone's mistakes, and become better, because that's how you become better, is watching, doing, and just learning from playing. So, yeah, so I had one coach suggest HP ground, which I was already thinking about at the time, and I really wish I had listened to them and listened to my gut, because HP ground on Alolan Ninetales would have been perfect. Fortunately, I don't. So from Ninetales, I'm going to have to switch. My only switch is to basically go into Swampert. Like, there's nothing else. If I go into Pelipper, okay, now I got Heatran firing off flash cannons at Pelipper that's already weak and missing its Assault Vest. And I need Pelipper healthy as long as possible to set Rain, so Swampert can come in and start sweeping around in Swift Swim. He goes for the rocks. That immediately puts Ninetales under pressure, and that immediately puts Chandelure under pressure. I can't get rid of them, and now I have to watch my switches into Ninetales. And as long as Vesuvius is around with no HP ground on Ninetales, every time Ninetales comes in, I have to know Heatran's coming in right after. So, unfortunately, my switching is now really compromised. It was a great play to set up those rocks, because it compromised my Ninetales, which was the biggest direct threat to his Salamence. Now he's got to fear the Earthquake. He's got to fear the Ice Punch. So he goes into Chestnut, which is his best response. I waterfalled, knowing full well Chestnut was coming in, but when I ran the calcs, Waterfall over Ice Punch, Waterfall actually did more, and so I was just trying to get a little chip before I had to get out of there. So Swampert's going to come out, knowing full well I can't take a Wood Hammer. Back into Pelipper we go. Set the Rain back up, so that way, for example, I could bring Chestnut in and not be super pressured by HP Fire. Let me tilt this down since I continue to shrink. I'm going to get some editing software. I'm going to learn how to edit videos. I just am a little swamped right now, to be perfectly honest. I'm juggling a lot right now, and I just don't have the time to work with the editing software. When I get to Thursday, which is basically my day off, I have a 3-hour lab in the morning, and then I'm off the rest of the day. I'm either playing matches, or I just sit and watch YouTube because I need to relax and have my own time off, because I am basically school, work, working on League and YouTube stuff, or homework, or all that throughout the week, and then I stream hopefully Saturdays, and then I definitely stream Sundays. I don't have a day off, and I kind of need a day off just to like recoup from everything, and so I haven't had the energy or the desire to use the editing software that I've been suggested and play around with it. I've played both of my matches for this week. I'm recording my Week 5 recap video tomorrow, and then I should be free. I don't have one of my classes on Friday, so Thursday I can play around with the editing software, learn it, and improve the video quality. And I've been saying it for weeks that I'd improve video quality, and it's coming. It will, I promise. And yes, this is a match, but this is also kind of just me trying to declutter before I go to bed, because I got a lot on my mind from the last week or so. So, obviously going into Pelipper is going to pressure Chestnut because of Hurricane, and everything else is basically pressured. He knows I can U-turn on the Persian. He knows U-turn's there, so it's got to put a little bit of issue on the what is that thing? Tapu Lele. He knows I can Scald and hit Heatran hard. He might suspect that I'm carrying Ice Beam on Pelipper for the Salamence. So, really Ditto is his only switch at this point that really makes sense. That or switching into Persian, because Persian won't die to a U-turn, but it does start chipping that. So he goes for Leech Seed, really risky in my mind. And then he was trying to seed my whatever was coming in. Actually, it was pretty good play to seed, because then it puts Pelipper in low health. I didn't want to switch, because now that Ditto came in and impostered me, he sees my set. He knows I have Ice Beam, he knows I have Scald, he knows I have Hurricane, and he knows I have U-turn. I can't risk a Scald burn on either Swampert or Escavalier. Scald does a ton to Alolan Ninetales. Scald does a ton in the rain to Chandelure. Ice Beam could kill Latios. He's going to be Scarfed too. That's just how Ditto runs, is Scarfed Imposter. And then it steals one of your moves. So basically, unfortunately, I'm forced to let Pelipper go down. At this point, I'm going to have to hit Ditto, kill it, and then once I Seeds trigger, it'll put me below where Rocks is going to get me, and I can't come back in. So Pelipper is basically in at this point to stay. I'm going to drop a Hurricane, drop it down to 34%, Leech Seed. It Scalds and kills me. I knew that was coming. I'm basically in severe trouble at this point because I've now lost Rain, I've lost Swampert as a check to Salamence, and basically Latios and Ninetales are now my only two checks. They're the only two things with Ice Beam or an Ice-type move to hit that thing back. He's scared. Here comes Tapu Lele. Ice Beam. He saw the Ice Beam now. To me, that was a misplay. Although, because I wasn't carrying a Dragon-type move, really Ice Beam was the only thing I had to hit Salamence, and I was afraid Salamence was coming in, which is why I went for the Ice Beam. I was carrying Shadow Ball, and the E-Belt Shadow Ball would have knocked out Tapu Lele. I should have known with Tapu Lele being around, he could bait the Dragon-type move, and then the Fairy typing would stop the Dragon-type move, so I should have just Shadow Balled. Like I said, heat of the moment, I lost Pelipper, I'm down 5-4 or 5-6. I'm already starting to stress about losing my checks to Salamence, and so I panicked and hit Ice Beam, not thinking clearly. Shadow Ball in here would have been great. Tapu Lele would go down, and that's one less major threat. So then from Tapu Lele, after the Ice Beam, he goes into his Persian, knowing that he can foul play and do big damage. He could Dark Pulse and do big damage. He can knock off my E-Belt and kill me. So I can't obviously stay in. And here I reveal the Shadow Ball. So had I Shadow Balled first, Lele goes down, and then this thing comes in, and I get out of here and go into Escavalier, and then we start the whole chain back around to Escavalier comes in on this thing. Then I have to play the guessing game. Does Heatran or Salamence come in? If Heatran comes in, Then I drill run and kill Heatran. If Salamence comes in, drill run does nothing. And I can try an Iron Head, which will do enough damage to Heatran and hurt the Salamence, and then I'm forced to switch into Swampert, which draws Chestnut, and it ran around. I knew how the switching was going to go. And that was probably the better idea. I should have dropped the Shadow Ball instead of the Ice Beam. You know, that's what happens when I start panicking and forget what I'm doing. So here comes Persian. I'm obviously going to have to take Latios out. Here comes the Escavalier, just like I said. He knocks off. There goes my Choice Band, which, to me, I was actually fine with. Losing the Choice Band. I'd put enough damage on this thing. I'd put enough damage on Ditto. I put enough damage on Lele. I put enough damage on Chestnut. And it would be a roll on the Heatran as to whether or not I killed it. But this allowed, by losing my Choice Band there, I was free to change my moves, and Escavalier had a little more life in it. I wasn't going to have to play around switching it, so I was actually fine losing my Choice Band. Parting Shot was a great play. I didn't think about this at the time, because I left Escavalier into Mega Horn. Because Mega Horn basically hit everything super, super hard except for Heatran. And I kind of thought maybe he would try to go Salamence for an Intimidate. Parting Shot Intimidate to cut my attack basically into nothing was a great play, and I didn't think of it. So, that was great. Great play by Fizzle. Parting Shot into Salamence. Then I'm forced to switch at that point because I can't take a hit from Salamence, and I'm also -2. And this is where things got scary for me. I switch into Shandy. He goes for a Dragon Dance. This is the one thing that I feared happening to me in the Team Builder, was if he set up a Dragon Dance, he now outspeeds me completely. Even Ninetales doesn't outspeed. And I couldn't run Ice Shard on Ninetales because of Tapu Lele preventing priority. So, this right here this is where I started to lose it. This is where I started to crack and start to get angry and frustrated. Not at Fizzle, but I was angry and frustrated at myself. Because as soon as this thing de-danced, I saw the second 6-0 sweep coming. Like, I didn't have anything for this. At least in my mind, I didn't have anything for Mega Salamence. It outsped me. It hit me harder at +1 attack. It basically runs through my team. The only thing I could hope for was a Flame Body. A 30% chance Flame Body to cut its attack down in half. The problem is right there he hits me with Facade. So even if I Flame Body burned him, Facade's going to double in power. So he's right back to where he was. So I didn't get the Flame Body. It kind of worked out in my favor not to get the Flame Body. But I'm still, at this point, you can't see the chat, but, or the match discussion. I mentioned no Flame Body. Fizzle wanted the Flame Body. One of the spectators went oof, and I basically gave up. I said 6-0 sweep, GG, because +1 I figured killed Swampert, +1 I know killed Latios, +1 definitely killed Escavalier at the range it was at, and +1 killed Ninetales, and outsped Ninetales. So I stay in, I go for the Ice Punch, thinking that if by some miracle, and I ran the calcs, and there was no way I should have lived. I don't know if Facade was this thing's only attack. It seemed a little strange that Facade would be its only attack. I think it had Double Edge, or it had Return, or it had something in the back besides Facade. And it's not choice locked. And so, running the calcs, I knew I was going to die. He facades me. I live on 12%, so he either low rolled, or my calcs were wrong, or he's not max attack, or he's not adamant. He's got bulk or something. And then Swampert ice punches and kills Mega Salamence. And that's right where I completely lost it. Losing, when he let Mega Salamence go down, I immediately exploded. I felt like it was a sack. Like, he didn't need to stay in. He knew that he could live 2 ice punches with Chestnut and kill me, and he outsped me. And so I really thought that he left Salamence in. He used a move that wouldn't kill, or that was borderline kill, and then I was able to kill Salamence. And it was a pity kill, basically, is how I saw it. I saw it as he took pity on me because he didn't want me to get... He knew I got 6-0'd that morning, so he didn't want me to get 6-0'd again. And he basically gave me a pity kill. And he did it on Mega Salamence because everyone's been wanting to see Mega Salamence get its first kill or first death of the season, and it seemed too convenient. I talked with Fizzle earlier about it, and he went with it because he thought it would kill. It said it should kill, it should have killed, and it didn't. For some reason, Swampert lived, and so it was just a miscalculation, or he completely low rolled on it. So at this point, I'm angry. I am going to lose Swampert. If Latios goes down, I have no answer to Heatran, and even then, Latios isn't a great answer to Heatran. So this game's pretty much over at this point, but I'm going to keep fighting for it. Psychic Surge, he Psychics, I die. In comes Escavalier. I'm going to try an Iron Head or Mega Horn, predicting him to stay in. In reality, I should have Drill Runned. With Mega Salamence gone, nothing can withstand the Drill Run, and then I can come back and only Heatran can kill me. Unless something has HP Fire on it. Only Heatran can kill me. And so I could freely switch my moves, take a hit, switch my move, and kill something else. I really should have Drill Runned. Granted, I made the right call, Mega Horning, because in comes Chestnut, and I take it below 44%. But then after that, again, I'm so angry. I'm thinking that Fizzle sacked his Salamence just as a pity, that I wasn't thinking clearly. In the original video, I was swearing, I was yelling, I was looking directly at the camera, not at the screen. I was throwing stuff around. I came completely unhinged because I felt like it felt really, because if it was pity, it felt really disrespectful to me. Like, don't do that, is how I think I kept saying. Don't do that. Don't sack it. Don't this, because that just, to me, was really disrespectful if he just let it go down because he felt bad for me. And in reality, he just low-rolled. And so, after Chestnut took the Mega Horn, I had to know that Vesuvius was coming. Just to check the calcs real quick. I'm going to pull this up, and then, that's not what I meant to do. I just want to check the calcs real quick. Just to make sure that this did kill, with my Escavalier. Drill Run, we lose our Choice Band. I got knocked off. Heatran. If I can spell Heatran correctly. Shuka, because I'm pretty sure it was the Shuka berry. Yeah, so if he was Shuka, Drill Run would do 49 to 57%. So that would have cut him almost in half if I knowing that was coming in and had done that instead of Mega Horning a second time. It would have popped the berry. It would have put huge pressure on this Vesuvius and potentially could have taken it down later in the game. Because then I would have switched into Latios. It could Lava Plume and not do much, which is exactly what it does. It Lava Plumes, does 18%. I get the burn. The burn doesn't really matter except for chipping me down because I'm a special Latios. So he'd be sitting at, he was at 81%. He'd go from 81, let's say I min rolled that hit, and let's just put it at 53%. He'd be sitting at 28%. And any move I hit him with would kill him. In comes Ditto and Imposters into me. This was another mistake. Again, so angry with what I thought was being taken pity for. Just so angry at that I made another misplay by calm minding and trying to go and just like say, okay, screw it, we're gonna sweep with a calm mind, which would have worked. I should have just psychicked in Psychic Terrain, because Psychic and Psychic Terrain would have killed the Heatran at 66%. It would have killed this thing as it came in. The only thing it didn't touch was Persian. Or actually, not Psychicked. I should have Shadow Balled. Because then I would have hit the Persian. Shadow Ball wouldn't kill the Heatran, but I could two-shot it. Considering I only took 18% from Lava Plume, I'd take another 18%. I'd be at 34%. And then the burn, another 6%. I'd be down to 28% on Latios. But with this thing being Imposter, Shadow Ball would hit it as it changed and would have killed. So then Ditto would have been off the board. Heatran would have been incredibly weak. Tapu Lele was down to 67%, and I could kill it with a Shadow Ball. Persian was down low where I could hit it with Escavalier and kill it. And Chestnut was down super low. So he Ice Beams, does not kill me. I Shadow Ball, retaliate, and kill. Just proves that Shadow Ball would have killed on entry. He had nothing else that really wanted to take a Shadow Ball, and then, yeah, I was running max speed, so I outsped everything except for potentially Scarf Lele. And I would have killed anything. Instead, Latios goes down to 3%. The burn's going to clean it up, and I have no answer to Heatran. Again, had I drill runned earlier in the game, Heatran would be sitting at 28%, and I'm Scarf, so I outspeed it. Dark Pulse cleaned up 18 of that 28%, so now he's down to 10%. I flinch. I can Dark Pulse again, and kill this thing instead of getting basically swept at the end by it. So I'd get the kill from double Dark Pulsing. Vesuvius goes down. Escavalier gets to freely run around. Alolan Ninetales basically can freely run around. How this would play out if Vesuvius went down to the Dark Pulse. He might have switched instead after the flinch to preserve Vesuvius and brought in Alolan Persian, which would have forced in Escavalier. Escavalier, unless it was HP Fire, would live. A hit from Persian. He'd probably parting shot, though, into Heatran. And then I'd have to sack. I would have had to sack Escavalier. Locked myself into Moonblast. Moonblast the... Yeah, I didn't have a win con once Latios went down. It didn't matter. Even with those plays back and forth, drill running with the Escavalier earlier, between the drill run and the Shadow Ball on the Ditto switch, I just messed up. Like I said, I was angry, and that anger caused some major misplays across the board. And so, anyways, I'm going to die to 2 Lava Plumes. Don't get the flinch on the second one. Lava Plume, die. Escavalier comes in, Lava Plume, die. And that's how this match is going to end. This takes me to WWC. Takes me to 2-3 with a -9 differential. And looking at the standings, 2-3 -9 basically keeps me in 8th place at this point, and that's about where I'm going to stay until I get caught up on my matches or the Garchomps continue to lose. Like if the Garchomps lose out, I beat the Dutch Pyroars. For my makeup game, I might be able to slip into 6th. That would be about my only chance to get in, would be to slip in ahead of the Dutch Pyroars at this point and take 6th. All I can say is good game to Fizzle. I apologize to Fizzle for losing my cool during the match. Again, out of respect, I will not post that match from earlier. The one that I recorded, it's already gone, so I can't post it. And we're just going to have to fight tooth and nail to get into playoffs. Luckily, the schedule gets a little easier. I play 3 of the bottom 4 teams that are behind me still. I have the Dragonites, who are in the playoffs right now, sitting 2nd in the league, and I have a very important matchup with the Garchomps that will help determine whether or not I get into playoffs or not. Plus, I still have my match against the Pyroars to make up as well. That will play a huge role in that. If I get into playoffs and I get another match with Fizzle, I look forward to it, and I hope I get a rematch Fizzle someday, because I didn't play my best game, and I feel like that really that's going to weigh on me for a while, because I lost control of the situation. Could have very easily taken this down to a 1-0 or a 2-0, or potentially pulled a victory away. But, good game to Fizzle. No hard feelings, dude. Really happy to have you as a babbler. Fizzle's description and stuff will be down in the link. Links will be down in the description. My information's down there. If you want to come hang out in the Discord server, I'm normally not this down. I'm normally pretty cheerful and running around like a maniac, like normal. But yeah, you can definitely come hang out, say hi. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.